This is Eagle Owl, and today I will be talking about joint practice with the Eagles and Patriots. Yes, the Eagles dominated. DeVonta Smith went off. Trotter Jr., Dean went off. Dean possibly had his best practice as of yesterday. And Jalen Hurts, man, he's just completely unstoppable. But let's get straight into it. All right, so before we get straight into it, I want to talk about Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts, his leadership is on 1,000. It's on 1,000 because after practice, he was asked about Saquon Barkley, and it was a wheel route that was ran, and it was a nice wheel route, and Saquon Barkley got the touchdown. But the reporters asked him about the play and was like, "Yo, you never had a running back like this, and that." But let me play this clip.
Like that coming out of the backfield?
What are you asking?
Like you haven't had a player with those capabilities in the backfield. How different does it feel and look with a player of that caliber?
Well, I mean, he's a great player. We've had great players at the position here, but this is a great play overall. Great execution is something that crazy enough. I think in the open practice we had that same play. So I don't know if you were there for that, but something similar that happened to Kenny Gainwell, a different guy.
You mentioned the percentage.
Even with Miles Sanders gone and DeAndre Swift gone, he still had respect for those guys. Like, nah, we had talent here. Look, I ran that play with Kenneth Gainwell during the open practice. And he like, were you there? Like, Jalen Hurts don't play that because it could have been one of those things that could have been taken the wrong way by DeAndre Swift, by Miles Sanders. But he's like, nah, we always had talent here with the other running backs. So shout out to Jalen Hurts, even though he kind of capping a little bit. Ain't nothing like Saquon, but at the end of the day, that just lets you know what kind of man Jalen Hurts is. Again, those dudes don't play for the team no more. He could have been like, yeah, Saquon is really the best we ever had. And then how Miles Sanders would have felt about that, or DeAndre Swift, or any future guys coming in like, oh, that's how Jalen Hurts coming. But now Jalen Hurts respect his guys who played with him at one point and who plays with him now. So again, shout out to Jalen Hurts. And before we get into the camp notes, we got to talk about Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean was back. He was limited, unfortunately, but fortunately enough, he is back. Had on the pads, did a couple drills, didn't do any team drills, but I want to see how we use him. The spots are filled up. The spots are filled up with Quinyon Mitchell, got the nickel. He basically got that down pat. Isaiah Rogers is on the outside. And then you have, of course, Darius Slay. Where do they put him? We'll see. But he even said, like, I've been watching the stuff closely, like the nickel and the outside corner. And he like, and during OTAs, I was the guy playing the nickel and the outside. So we'll see where they put me. But Cooper DeJean, him being injured now, it's like up in limbo. Like, what is he going to do? The season about to start. Basically, the starters are all picked. Do Cooper DeJean basically get redshirted? Because special teams is taken up too. So Cooper DeJean, maybe he's squeezing somewhere, but I want to see how the team use him. Do they use him as an overall weapon? Like, do he line up sometimes in the box as a safety, or do he get some reps at nickel or outside? I want to see how the team use him again. Just want to see how they use them. But let's get into the camp notes. It's a lot of camp notes. I'm going to try to go over as much as possible. Right, so injury report we have over in Burks. No surprise there. Grant Calcaterra. Come on, Grant Calcaterra. Come on, man. We need you to be that guy. Come on, man. CJ Garner Johnson, shoulder. Caden Stearns, knee. Alberto, abdomen. They all did not practice. Then you have Makai Gardner, hamstring. Paris Campbell, groin. Cooper DeJean, hamstring. And Brandon Smith, concussion. Those guys were limited. So that was your injury report for the day. Quinyon Mitchell, soon as the one-on-one started, had really sticky coverage. Could not get past by the wide receivers. It was one wide receiver that beat him, but I mean Quinyon Mitchell was really good during the one-on-ones. He damn near stuck every receiver they had. One got over on him, but Quinyon, had a great practice. Johnny Wilson, yeah, this is not good. Johnny Wilson actually struggled in one-on-ones. Johnny Wilson wasn't that great in one-on-ones today. Maybe you get him next time. Maybe he do something during the preseason game, but it wasn't Johnny Wilson's best day, to be honest. AJ Brown beat Christian Gonzalez during the one-on-ones. And of course, oh man, DeVonta Smith torched Christian Gonzalez during the one-on-ones. And the one-on-ones, to be fair, it does favor the wide receiver, but DeVonta Smith made it look so smooth. When I say he just dominated these boys 1-on-1, 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, DeVonta Smith just could not be stopped. During 7-on-7s, Jalen Hurts find DeVonta Smith. A cornerback was trailing him from the Patriots, and Jalen Hurts threw a dime to DeVonta Smith. Again, man, DeVonta Smith, I might mention his name like 1,000 times during the notes because he just had one of those days. AJ Brown did too, but DeVonta Smith is the man that stole the show. Him and Jalen Hurts just couldn't be stopped. Kenny Pickett had a decent day. He found John Ross on a deep route, cornerback trailing John Ross, and put it right on the money. Kenny Pickett even had a good day. Overall, our team basically dominated the Patriots. A lot of these dudes on our team, first, second, and third team, had really good days against the Patriots, and we completely dominated. And that's good. We dominated another team because we know what's been going on as far as our offense dominating our defense. But surprisingly, when I get deeper into the notes, our defense dominated the Patriots offense. So that speaks volumes about our offense in general. It's a video floating around now. I play it of my guy Shon Stevens getting beat by this dude named Polk. It was one-on-ones, and he completely beat Shon Stevens. And even Shon Stevens tweeted like, hey, let's see that Thursday. Let's see that in the real game. But yeah, Shon Stevens got beat bad. But hopefully, Shon Stevens, he gets some playing time during, the preseason game and get his revenge. The starters for cornerback and linebacker, it's been the same the past, 4 or 5 weeks. Isaiah Rodgers is starting. Mekhi Becton is at right guard. The same linebackers are the same linebackers. Zach Bond, Devin White. So it looked like it's not changing. That will be your starters. That's it. I mean, I'm gonna keep announcing it just in case it changed, but I think this is pretty much locked up as far as with the starters. Brandon Graham got a sack. Yes, Brandon Graham got a sack. I might read off 14 sacks. When I totaled it up, the notes, the Eagles had 14 sacks from Brandon Graham. Then you had Nolan Smith, who had a great day. Jalen Carter, Bryce Huff had his best day. Milton Williams couldn't be stopped. I believe Jalen's Hunt even got in there a couple times. Like, the defensive line was completely dominating. I mean, completely dominating the Patriots O-line. First team, second team, and third team. So that lets you know that defensive line is still there. It's still there. Most embarrassing thing, man, just in case y'all seen my short, James Bradberry, a third string tight end, burnt James Bradberry. A third string tight end. Oh, man. And this is what I mean, man. I get it. Again, one-on-ones always favor the receiver, but a third string tight end, bro, beat you. A third string tight end, bro. This is ridiculous, man. We gotta get one of our safeties back. We got 2 injured safeties that are potentially really good, and Sidney Brown and this Caden Stearns guy, and we got to deal with James Bradberry. I get it being safety. Hopefully he don't have to cover as much, but if third string tight end is beating you, I mean, I think he's literally in Philadelphia for the check. I think James Bradberry's done. He had that one last year when he got all pro, and then after that, I think he's done. I think he's done, man. Now, I have to say something bad about the Eagles defense against the Patriots. While we got a lot of sacks, and I believe our defense dominated their offense, but it got to a point during 11-on-11s. The Patriots' first team did not throw an incompletion. I have to state that. While I state the good and the bad, I have to state the bad too. While the defensive line was dominating, during 11-on-11s, during the session, they did not throw one incompletion. That's not good. That's not good at all because that saying that if we don't get the pressure, if we don't get the quarterback, will our corners be burnt toast? I don't know, but we know what Vic Fangio liked to do. He liked to do the bend don't break. So was it a lot of underneaths, a lot of short routes? I don't know, but it did get to a point we did not force any incompletion, and that's not good. N'Kobe Dean and Zach Bond together got some first team reps. N'Kobe Dean made a play in coverage. Surprisingly made a play in coverage. That's why I said this was one of his best camps. He tipped the ball, and that tip ball forced the interception or caused the interception, and Zach Bond caught it. So the two guys, the two linebackers that's technically supposed to be battling for a position really helped each other. But N'Kobe Dean, man, it's weird with N'Kobe Dean because technically he's having a good camp, but he just can't do it in coverage. That's the problem. N'Kobe Dean is having a great camp, but coverage can't be ignored because we're in a passing league. Now, we were still in the league at 09 or 08, run dominant teams. But today's NFL, you got to know how to cover. You got to. And N'Kobe Dean just been struggling there. But overall, man, N'Kobe Dean is having a decent camp. He, like Vic Fangio said, something about that open practice, he just didn't look good. But before that and now, I got to give it up. He's having a good camp. Kenny Pickett, again, had a good day. He found E.J. Jenkins 30 yards down the field for a touchdown through a beautiful pass to E.J. Jenkins. So while Jalen Hurts had a good day, our second team offense had a good day, and Kenny Pickett was on the money. He was on the 100. Eagles defense looked its best during the red zone, so the red zone defense really played good, but that's expected of a Vic Fangio defense. Vic Fangio, while they will give up a lot of yards, but when it comes down to that red zone, they do clamp down. Like they clamp down, teams not going to score a lot of touchdowns, but they will get a lot of yards. You'll see a quarterback play of Vic Fangio defense like, yeah, he do for like 300-400 yards, but only got like one touchdown. That's what Fangio do. It's really annoying as a fan, but if you could hold the team to 3 or possibly 0, can't get mad at that. We almost had a camp fight, almost, but the teams, the Eagles and the Patriots, did a good job emphasizing before the practice that, like, yo, no camp fights, no camp fights. And even Gerard Mayo put out, like, starters, if you start a fight, you're playing the whole preseason. And if you're not a starter, you're not playing the preseason.
Real game, you fight in a real game, you get fined, you get kicked out. It's the same thing here. And look, my message to the players, if you get in a fight out here, if you're a starter, you're going to play the whole preseason game. If you're not a starter, you won't play at all. And so that's kind of my mindset with that.
And the non-starters need those preseason reps. So it was almost a camp fight. Isaiah Rodgers, he fumbled during the kickoff, and then the Patriots ran it back for a touchdown. And, the bench was almost emptying out. I guess the Patriots got smart or whatever. And the fight didn't happen. It almost happened, but it didn't happen. Hurts found A.J. Brown for a beautiful pass at one point for a touchdown. Heard it was on the money. But speaking of A.J. Brown, right, he was asked about Jalen Hurts. No picks. And this is what A.J. Brown had to say.
I think you can't get you can't really worry about that stuff. None of that stuff matters. Is he coming out here executing? Yes. And that's all that matters. I know you guys keep stats and all this other stuff, but this is practice. Who cares if you throw an interception? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's practice. We trying new things and shit. I try new stuff when I'm doing releases and stuff. Who cares if I lose? It's practice. It's when you're supposed to try. But I don't think nobody is getting too hyped that he hasn't thrown an interception. No, it doesn't matter about that. We trying to execute.
I respect A.J. Brown's answer, man. I really do. While it's fun to us to keep record, or it's fun to Elliott Short Parts to keep record, at the end of the day, it's practice. This is not happening in a real game. He's still being aggressive. And I really like A.J. Brown's answer. Like, it's nothing to go crazy or just have this super duper celebration about. But it does make you feel good. I'm speaking from a fan's perspective. Like, if we keep this up and it translates to the regular season, we'll be so happy. We'll be so happy, man. So it's good to see that not only Jalen Hurts is not throwing turnovers, but he's still being aggressive. He's still throwing it 30, 40 yards down the field. So that's really good. Trotter Jr. Instincts is just on the money. So he baited like Jacoby Brissett, think he's going one way, but he went another, and picked them off. Trotter Jr., I mean, preseason game, OTAs, rookie camp, training camp, it don't matter where he's at. He's having one hell of a camp. One hell of a camp to the point where I believe he should get more first team reps. I think we're doing a disservice to him not giving him more first team reps. I think we're doing a disservice to him not giving him a chance to start. I really do. Because if he keep this up, and I said this, right, when we drafted him. Yeah, Edgerrin Cooper right now is the better linebacker. Right now, for sure. I can admit that. But I believe we revisit that conversation 3 to 4 years down the line. And I'm going to keep that same answer. I believe when we look at this draft class and we go back and look at the linebackers and whoever was picked, I think Trotter Jr. wins the race. That's what I'm going to call it, the race. I believe he can be better than Edgerrin Cooper or any of these linebackers that got drafted ahead of him. I really do. I think he's a steal. Because you got to think, before the draft and before all this mock stuff and all this stuff came out, a lot of people thought Trotter Jr. was going to at least be the second or third linebacker off the board. But it didn't work that way. He fell right in our arms. And I don't think there's much developing the Eagles need to do. I honestly don't. So if he's making good plays like this, not only against his own team, but against opposing teams, Trotter Jr., man, the future is bright for him, man. It's definitely bright. Bryce Huff and Jalen Carter got back-to-back sacks. I'm telling you, man, Bryce Huff, his name been quiet, but this practice went off. But that's what you expect if Bryce Huff going against Lane Johnson. A lot of people was criticizing Bryce Huff, like, why is he not doing nothing in camp? What's going on? He's going up against Lane Johnson every single day. I'm like, if he go up against the average right tackle, he will dominate. And this is exactly what happened. It's the regular right tackle in the league that played for the Patriots. He dominates him. Nolan Smith was doing the same thing, dominating. We know Jalen Carter is going to be Jalen Carter. He dominates your superstar. But I'm telling you, Bryce Huff will be fine. He will be fine. He just matched up against Lane Johnson. It's as simple as that. It's Lane Johnson, bro. While Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal day, I had to bring this up. There were points where Jalen Hurts struggled against the blitz. I have to bring it up. Was it the play calling? I don't know. Was it the protection? I don't know. But he did get sacked like 3 times during the 11-on-11 drill. And yeah, the blitz got to him. And of course, there were times he just completely dismantled it. But there were times where it's like Jalen Hurts looked like he struggling just a little bit against the blitz. But eventually, Jalen Hurts went off. But I had to bring that up. Hurts overall, though, 124-28. Just domination. Only 4 incompletions. I mean, Jalen Hurts was different, man. He was different. He looked really comfortable in the pocket. He's been working the pocket a lot more. I know a lot of y'all come at me like, well, of course, because he know he's not going to get hit. I think we're going to see a lot more pocket passing. Of course, he's going to use his legs. Always going to use his legs as a threat, but I think he's going to hang in the pocket a lot more this year and really trust the offensive line. I believe he will do that. Britton Covey looked good. He was dusting off cornerbacks. I mean, Britton Covey, that wide receiver 3 spot, man. You might be the next Cole Beasley. Man. If you could just play that role right, I think Britton Covey will be fine. So, Britton Covey, another day, a great camp, and it looked like he's ahead. Paris Campbell was limited. Johnny Wilson didn't have the best day, and Britton Covey continues the ball. Tyler Steen, gotta bring him up because I know my last video set a lot of people off, but Tyler Steen did have a good day. He pancaked the defensive tackle on the Patriots. He had one hell of a day for sure. So shout out to Tyler Steen, man. I don't got nothing against him. I just think that, Mekhi Becton is better. I just think that, but I just don't have nothing against Tyler Steen. I hope he be great because he was drafted by the Eagles. If he's great, that makes the team I cheer for better. So Tyler Steen, man, again, it's good to hear you had a great day. Last note of the day, Milton Williams completely dominated the Patriots, man. He couldn't be stopped. I'm telling you, it was 14 sacks. 14 sacks. So shout out to Milton Williams. And going back to Tyler Steen, hate to bring this up. He did give up like a sack too, but that's fine. Guards, tackles give up sacks. But at the end of the day, Tyler Steen had a decent day, a really decent day. But that's all the camp notes I got for you guys today. Again, you heard me mention a lot of sacks. A lot of sacks. We just completely dominated the Patriots, but that's what you expect when you got the better team. If we've lost to the Patriots or whatever during quote unquote joint practice, I would have had some questions. If we struggled and we barely looked better than them, I would have had some questions for sure. But nah, it was none of that. It was none of that. We dominated. We got the dub for whatever it's worth during joint practice. I was even listening to the Patriots side, and the Patriots was like, yeah, the Eagles are just dominating. But of course they highlight some stuff that the Patriots are doing well, but they the Eagles are just completely ahead of the Patriots. So that's what you expect, man. The Patriots are rebuilding. We ready now. You got to do what you got to do. Definitely got to do what you got to do. But what do you think? How do you feel about the camp notes? Cooper DeJean coming back. Jalen Hurts having a hell of a day. Jalen Hurts' leadership in general. Trotter Jr., Covey Dean. How do we feel about it, man? But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm up.